Starting next month, I'm moving to my family home with him. I could hear mocking laughter over the phone. I let out a deep sigh. Just because we bought a new house, they think they can just move in? How much more condescending can they get? Now I won't have to do any housework. Once I'm there, I'll make sure you do a lot for me. With that, Catherine hung up the phone. I looked over at Bob sitting next to me. He had an angry expression on his face. If she wants it that way, just let her have it. Yeah, you're right. We decided to let her have her way if she wanted it that badly. On the moving day, I was enjoying a rare date with Bob. Checking my cell, Catherine had called me like the devil 27 times. Oh, she must have found out. With that thought, I smirked and Bob noticed and smiled back. Then, right on cue, the phone rang and I answered. Hey! What the hell is this? Hearing her panicked voice, we both laughed out loud. My name is Nancy Smith, a 49-year-old working mom. I have a daughter named Emily. Soon after Emily was born, I found out my husband at the time was cheating, and we divorced. Since then, I've been working hard to raise Emily by myself as a single mother. You're doing great at work. But don't push yourself too hard. That's when Bob, my coworker, reached out to me. He always helped me with my work and brought me things like coffee. He was always considerate and looking out for me. Why are you so kind to me? Well, to be honest, I'm in the same boat with you. It turns out, he's also a single father raising a daughter. Moreover, he too had been cheated on by his wife, who ended up leaving their daughter behind when she left. Seeing our similar circumstances, he took special care of me. Realizing we were both in the same situation brought us closer in no time. I'm Catherine Smith. Nice to meet you. I'm Emily. Emily, you're adorable. When we introduced our kids, they instantly became friends. At the time, Catherine, who was 9, kept saying how cute 5-year-old Emily was, and Emily looked up to Catherine. Catherine keeps saying she wants to live with her new sister and a new mom soon. Wait, does that mean? Yes. Will you marry me? With a little push from our kids, we got remarried. The two girls became as close as real sisters, and we believed we were building a warm and loving home. At least, that's what I believed. Our family was harmonious at first. However, things started to strain when Catherine entered middle school. The once kind Catherine started to live recklessly. She would hang out without studying. Despite being in middle school, there were times she would come home later than us after work. Catherine! Where have you been? None of your business. No matter how many times we asked or scolded, nothing changed, and she stubbornly refused to tell us where she went. Moreover, she began to blatantly disregard Emily. You'll probably fail your exams and lead a miserable life. After all, you're her daughter. Catherine! What are you saying? To make matters worse, Catherine began stealing Emily's belongings. Among them was a cherished pendant Emily received from my late mother, and I reprimanded Catherine. I just borrowed it. It's probably cheap anyway. Catherine! Listen! You're not even my real mom. Those words pierced me to the core. Catherine! Enough is enough. Instead of me, Bob reprimanded Catherine. Even after that, Catherine kept on harassing Emily, but Emily seemed unfazed. I have things I want to achieve, so I'm prioritizing my studies right now. I don't let what Catherine does bother me too much. Emily began to have dreams and started to study hard. Being a girl who didn't get too attached to material things, she seemed okay even when Catherine took her belongings. Sure, when the pendant was taken, Emily looked like she was about to cry, but she forgave Catherine once it was returned. That being said, it felt like it was only a matter of time before the two clashed. Bob and I were at a loss, not knowing how to navigate this precarious situation. I wonder if I did something wrong. Even if it's her rebellious phase, did I upset her somehow? No, Nancy, you've done nothing wrong. In fact, I'm grateful to you. You treat Catherine just like you treat Emily. So, don't worry about it. We talked almost every night, but Catherine's attitude remained unchanged. We didn't want to think our remarriage had been too early. We constantly racked our brains, trying to figure out a solution. Unbeknownst to us, our daughter was watching our struggles. Time passed, and while Catherine continued her carefree college life, Emily, now in high school, juggled work and studies, considering her job as another form of education. Although the two sisters were polar opposites, Bob and I treated them equally. I always treated Catherine as my own daughter, but she remained cold towards me. Catherine, how's college going? It's none of your business. Don't act all chummy. Just give me money. We did allow Catherine to live on her own near her college. But she frequently came home, always demanding money whenever she did. Lately, there were rumors that she was seeing multiple men. What are you doing? One day, I heard Emily shout. Emily, who rarely raised her voice, made me rush over in concern. What happened? There stood Emily, clutching her bank card, and Catherine with an annoyed look. Catherine tried to steal my bank card. Apparently, when Emily came home from her job, Catherine was in Emily's room with a bank card that was supposed to be locked in a drawer. She immediately raised her voice and took back her bank card. That was the earnings Emily had deposited in the bank for her future. The fact that Catherine tried to take such money is what angered Emily and caused her to shout. Catherine, do you realize what you've done? Quit acting like you're my mom. Who do you think you are? A voice I had never heard before, deep and furious. I turned to see Bob, his face red with anger. Get out! Dad! I'll pay for your living expenses and college tuition. But never show your face here again. Upon hearing Bob's words, Catherine left. Afterward, she dropped out of college and disappeared. This incident deeply saddened Bob. I might have been too harsh. I was already feeling guilty for the trouble she caused Nancy and Emily, but the thought of her trying to steal money made me lose my temper. It's okay. She's strong and can survive anywhere. I believe that. I said, trying to comfort him, but I too was worried. I just prayed that she was okay. All I could do was pray for her well-being and tried to comfort Bob. Years later, Emily became independent, and Bob and I were enjoying our life together. Hey, Nancy. About that idea we discussed. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. At that time, we were planning to buy a new house. We had been living in Bob's family home, which was quite old and inconvenient. Though it was close to the elementary school Emily attended, it was far from the train station, and we needed a car to go to the supermarket. So, we decided to buy a new place. While looking at potential houses. Wait, aren't you the woman who acts like my mom? Huh? No way, Catherine! We ran into Catherine. She had dyed her hair bright red and was wearing heavy makeup. She was decked out in flashy jewelry, giving a blinging impression. However, the clothes she wore had good taste and suited her. Next to her was a man, laughing with a carefree attitude. What? You know Catherine? Yeah, I told you, didn't I? About the lady who acts like she's my mom without being related by blood. At Catherine's explanation, the man showed an unpleasant smirk. I couldn't help but frown. Either not noticing or not caring about my discomfort, the two flashed mocking smiles our way. Oh, this is my boyfriend, Jacob. Hey there. Yeah. I responded curtly, almost involuntarily. I heard Jacob mutter under his breath, she's uptight. Must be because she's an old lady. You just came out of the real estate office, right? Yes. Good to see you're doing well. Sorry, I'm in a hurry. Saying that, I chose to distance myself from Catherine and her boyfriend. Feeling the weight of Catherine's intense gaze on my back as I walked away. A few days after that encounter, we finally purchased our new home. It was closer to work and within walking distance to the supermarket. We were excitedly preparing for the move. Then, I got a call from Catherine. It's been a while. I heard you bought a new house. You're getting ahead of yourself, aren't ya? Catherine rambled on, dominating the conversation. Feeling Bob's gaze on me, I put her on speakerphone. After listening to her for a while, she suddenly burst into laughter and said something unexpected. Next month, Jacob and I are gonna move into the family home. Her laughter over the phone sounded mocking. I sighed deeply. Moving in right after we bought our new place. Just how much did she look down on us? Now I don't have to do housework. When I get there, I'm gonna make you work hard. With that, Catherine hung up. I glanced over at Bob sitting beside me. He had a furious look on his face. If she wants it that way, let her have it. Yeah, you're right. If that's what she really wants, we thought, we'll let her have her way. And then, on the moving day, Bob and I were enjoying a long overdue date. I casually checked my phone and found out Catherine had called me like the devil, 27 times. Guess she found out. Chuckling at the thought, Bob noticed and smiled too. Just then, the phone rang again, and I answered. What's the meaning of this? At that flustered voice, we all burst out laughing. Why are you laughing? Why is Matthew there? Well, Matthew is living with Emily now. The reason for Catherine's panic? Matthew, Emily's fiancé and Catherine's ex-boyfriend, was waiting outside the new house. Moreover, Matthew is also the elder brother of Catherine's current boyfriend, Jacob. Initially, Catherine dated Matthew. But when Jacob started hitting on Catherine, she quickly switched over, apparently defaulting on a debt she owed Matthew. So, while looking for Catherine's family members, Matthew made contact with Emily. They bonded over the trouble they'd both had with Catherine, and their relationship quickly evolved into an engagement. This time, since my parents, who always side with my younger brother and criticize me, tell me things like you're so narrow-minded or you're the older brother, you should give in, I would rather be with Emily's family than my family. So, with the intent of a fresh start, he's planning to become a part of Emily's family. When he came over to give his greetings and the topic of the new house came up, Emily and Matthew offered to cover half the costs if we'd allow them to live with us, and we agreed. With their financial contribution, we were able to buy a two-family home. Just after that, Catherine called, so we informed Emily and Matthew. And that's why they were there waiting. Hello? Mom? Then I heard Emily's voice coming from Catherine's end of the line. Apparently, Matthew quickly caught Jacob, but Catherine was trying to run and contact me when she was caught by Emily. We're fine over here. Enjoy your date with Dad. Yes, thank you. Hey! If you're a mother, help me! Just as I was about to hang up, I heard Catherine yelling. I let out a sigh. Why not ask your real mom instead of this pretend mom act? What? And then, I decisively ended the call. In truth, Catherine's attitude was a result of her mother's influence. Catherine's mother, Bob's ex-wife, had reached out to her when she was in middle school. It seems she was told a made-up story there. She was told things like, she stole Bob from me, and Emily was conceived when Bob and Nancy had an affair. Bob hadn't shared the true reason for their divorce with Catherine, saying she was too young to understand. So, believing her biological mother's words, Catherine began to despise us. Even if she was deceived by her real mother, it doesn't mean we should forgive her. Yeah, that's right. Helping her here won't be for her benefit. Besides, Emily told us to enjoy ourselves. Right. Let's enjoy a bit more. By the way, we're on a vacation. When we remarried, due to work being so busy and the challenge of traveling with two kids who weren't quite settled yet, we never went on a honeymoon. That's why Emily gifted us this trip. We planned to thoroughly enjoy our time together and then head back to our new home. Even though I was a bit concerned about Catherine, I decided to prioritize our vacation. Welcome back, both of you. Welcome home, Bob and Nancy. We're back. Thanks for taking care of things while we were away. Upon returning from our trip, we were greeted by Emily and Matthew. Catherine and Jacob were nowhere in sight. What happened to those two? Oh, we sent them off. Apparently, Catherine and Jacob were placed in live-in job positions. Catherine was sent to a ranch owned by one of Emily's acquaintances, and Jacob to a factory owned by one of their relatives. That relative apparently didn't think too highly of families that favored Jacob, but they gladly agreed to take him in this time. He told me he's gonna whip some sense into him, Matthew said with a bright smile. I couldn't help but laugh along, seeing his reaction. Why did you send Catherine to a ranch? Well, she always used to say she'd never want to work on a farm, sweating in overalls and dealing with cows. So, I thought I'd let her experience just how wonderful that kind of job can be. That ranch, it turns out, belongs to Emily's old part-time work buddy's family. Back in the day, Catherine would deliberately come to their workplace just to tease Emily and even bother her coworkers. As a kind of payback, she got dumped at the ranch. The family of Emily's old coworker is well aware of what Catherine has been up to, so they're keeping a close eye on her and making sure she works hard. We also made sure to punish the root of the problem. The problem, Matthew's family, ran a business and was fairly wealthy. However, apparently, Matthew spread the word about the recent events to various companies and neighbors, causing their reputation in the community to plummet quickly. As a result, their business started failing, forcing a change in leadership. Pressured, his parents apparently fled in the night. On the other hand, Catherine's mother lost her source of income and was pursued by debt collectors, eventually going missing. As a result, Catherine was completely abandoned. Bob and I heard this story while the four of us were having tea. Oh, right. We got some souvenirs. We got something separate for the office, so you guys should enjoy these. Awesome. Thank you. As soon as we brought out the souvenirs, their faces lit up in joy. Seeing their reactions, Bob and I exchanged glances and laughed, thinking how they were becoming quite the pair. How's the business going? It's going well. We're all set to welcome both of you. Actually, right after graduating from college, Emily and Matthew became co-founders and started their own company. Starting a business had been Emily's dream for a long time, and she had been saving up for it. When she began dating Matthew, who also wanted to start a similar company, they decided to venture together. And now, Bob and I have been recruited to start working there next week. I intend to fully utilize all the experience I've gained over the years. A little while after the company settled down, Emily and Matthew decided to get married. Congratulations, Emily. Emily, you look stunning. Thanks, both of you. On the wedding day, most of the invited guests were familiar with the couple's struggles, and everyone was showering them with blessings. Among them were the old co-workers and their families from Emily's part-time job. Isn't it getting noisy? Oh dear, I wonder what's happening. In the midst of this festive atmosphere, I noticed a commotion near the entrance. As Bob and I approached. Bring out those two! You're my father, you should help me! Catherine shouted. It seems that the ranch owners who were supervising Catherine had loosened their guarding since they attended the wedding. She had secretly followed them and found out about the wedding venue. As Catherine, who had been making a fuss, noticed us, she approached with a fierce and angry look on her face. Bring them out! You're my father, you should help me! But Bob gave her a cold stare. With a look from Bob that she had never seen before, Catherine was momentarily silenced. You were once my daughter. What do you mean were? I still am. But I can't forgive what you did to another daughter and wife I deeply love. And, though I intended to keep this to myself, I've always disliked how much you remind me of her deep down. What? Bob's words stunned Catherine. I had always been Bob's confidant regarding this matter. It seems that when Bob broke up with Catherine's mother, there was a huge fallout. On top of that, he apparently faced some very harsh words. She's my daughter, but every time I see Catherine, I'm reminded of her, even to the point of feeling hatred. Bob had confided in me. He had hidden this for so long because he was her father. I tried numerous times to reset our relationship. I've always tried to think of your future and interacted with you accordingly. But you never listened. Frankly, I've been disappointed in you. Now, I never want to see your face again. Catherine seemed at a loss for words, just staring at Bob. She probably thought somewhere deep down that Bob would never abandon her. That's how wrong my sister was. Just then, Emily and Matthew came over. Catherine shot them a dirty look, but Emily and Matthew seemed completely unfazed. We ignored what you did to us for a while because it wasn't worth our time, but honestly, you were so annoying. And after you caused trouble at our part-time job, we decided we're not gonna let it slide anymore. I feel the same way. Even if my parents pushed us to date, I was hurt when I was betrayed. Thanks to that, I met Emily. That's the only thing I'm grateful for. Hearing their words, Catherine opened her mouth to retort, then abruptly shut it. Under normal circumstances, she might have had some complaints. But the rejection from Bob must have deeply affected her. She seemed to be struggling to find words. Let's go back, everyone. We really want you all to join the celebratio. As if Catherine was never there, they moved on with cheerful faces, leading the way back to the venue. Before I followed Bob's lead to return, I turned back to look at Catherine. I truly loved you as a daughter. But it's impossible now. After saying that, Bob and I left the scene. Later on, Catherine was escorted out by the security guards. Do you think I was too harsh? Bob asked. Not at all. Parents are human too, I reassured. Right. Now, let's celebrate Emily and Matthew's marriage? Bob nodded in agreement. And then, to celebrate Emily and Matthew's wedding, we walked forward with our heads held high. Since then, we've been living in a duplex with Emily and Matthew. Recently, we found out Emily is pregnant. Currently, our whole family is supporting Emily. Is it a girl? Or a boy? Bob is already so excited about the upcoming grandchild, buying this and that, and it's leaving us all shaking our heads in disbelief. I wonder if he'll faint from happiness once the baby is born. Oh, by the way, the money I lent out came back safely. According to Matthew, their debts have been fully paid off. However, it turns out they both had caused trouble elsewhere, so they're gonna be working their tails off for a while. Especially Catherine, who, having run away once, is now being worked to the bone to ensure she doesn't muster the energy to escape again. We likely won't see her face around us anymore. By the way, Matthew's parents, who had fled in the night, were caught by debt collectors, and Catherine's mother got arrested for marriage fraud. Finally, that's settled. Yeah, it sure is. With all the troublemakers gone, we genuinely laughed. Fast forward a few years. Since then, Emily gave birth to vibrant twins. They're both so lively, always getting into mischief. Then, how about we take them to an amusement park next time? They'd love that. While Bob played with the twins, we planned the outing. Our relationship with the couple remains cordial. We believe we're maintaining a perfect distance without being too intrusive. It's okay to have fun, but don't overdo it and hurt yourself, okay? I'll be fine, don't worry. If you wear yourself out, you can stay at home by yourself, Dad. Oh, give me a break! Bob exclaimed, making everyone laugh. The twins keep us on our toes daily, and it's a whirlwind. But being kept on our toes like this doesn't bother me at all. If she had been a bit more attentive to those around her, maybe she could have joined us in this happiness. Nancy, promise you'll always be with me. Of course, I will. Let's all continue to live in harmony as a family. Of course, we won't be a burden just because we're family and we'll always listen to each other.